G'day folks, it's the Maple Monkey here again with another live stream for you. I guess it's another Marvel United live stream, since that's the theme for today. We're going to have another go, fingers crossed, another look at designing a Homebrew Hero using InDesign. So a little while ago, we did a video where we went through and created a hero and looked at the design process there, but also looked at how to use the software. I think it's software is the word, I'm not sure, for Photoshop, because one of the homebrew folks who's put up some sort of tools, resources for you to use to build your own homebrew stuff is Helios23. He's built a lot of stuff using I guess a few templates with the Photoshop program, and then diversionArchitect, another home brewer, who I'm sure you guys are familiar if you watch the videos here, but he has also designed a series of templates using InDesign. They're both, I think, under the sort of Adobe creative sort of suite of software there, but InDesign is a different system. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And we had a go at it a little while ago. It's a really great system, but I had diversionArchitect or Dave on the channel for a live stream to go through it, and we sort of ran into a lot of bugs and stuff like that, and I wasn't very familiar with it. So it sort of wasn't a great showcase for how to use InDesign. So I fairly quickly pulled that video down because I thought it wasn't going to sort of serve anyone's interest sort of watching that if you're sort of looking to learn how to do that. So we're going to have another go at today and see how we go. So don't have Dave with us, but I am hoping to have him in a couple of days or 1 or 2 days doing another live stream, and we're going to have a chat about homebrew and get his insights into it, because he's another great homebrewer with along the likes of Nelly Nell, who we had on the other day. I should say a little while ago now, wasn't it? So, but yeah, so we'll have another homebrew chat. So that's coming up. What we'll do today, and just a bit of a caveat, or a little bit of a disclaimer. This is not really a video if you're looking to learn how to properly use InDesign and that sort of thing for any sort of real purposes, as you've probably been able to tell by the rambling start here. But it's not going to be the best video for that sort of thing, but it is hopefully going to be a way to showcase for those people who are into homebrew, and if you're designing stuff, and you're starting to sort of generate ideas, and you want to actually start making your own cards and that sort of thing. This hopefully will show you what you can do with the InDesign system. Hopefully it will show you some of the strengths and the differences between it and Photoshop, so you can see how that works. And then if you really want to learn the ins and outs of it, I highly recommend you go and watch some YouTube videos that are more specifically designed about how to use InDesign and that sort of thing. And also just point out that diversionArchitect or Dave, Helios23, all the guys in the Discord channel in that the homebrew section are really quite friendly and helpful. So if you have any little questions and things like that, they should be able to help you out as well. So they've been very helpful for me as well. So yeah, so we'll get into it. So I thought what we'll do today is, since I've been designing, I'm almost finished now. My little project, I guess, homebrew, sort of my little corner that I've tried to work in. I've sort of dabbled with friends and bits and pieces and stuff. But I guess the big project I've been working on is the Street Fighter stuff. Norlith, another designer, he started a Marvel vs. Capcom sort of united system, and so I've sort of tried to sort of build out the Street Fighter part of that. And so along with that, I've sort of had in the back of my mind, it wouldn't be cool if we did from the Marvel vs. Capcom sort of side of things, do the Sentinel as a hero. So I thought that's what we could try today, is put the Sentinel together, but in particular like the Marvel vs. Capcom version. So that's what we're going to try and do today. So first step is to see if I can work out, as you guys know, I'm really technologically savvy here, work out again, because it's been a while since I've done one of these, how to share my screen with InDesign. So that'll be the first thing. Now I've sort of set it up now. I can see a couple of people watching, so hopefully those folks, if you are watching and if you're not turned off yet, I'm going to hopefully set this up so I can see my comments, and that way you guys can let me know if you can see the screen, if things are going well, if you can hear me, all that sort of stuff as well. So let us know in the comments if this isn't working for you, because I should in theory be able to see it. So let's have a look here. So I'm just going to try and present my screen share. Okay, and let's have a look here. Go entire screen. I know there's probably a better way I could do this, but I'm just going to try this. Okay, so in theory, now you can see window upon window disappearing there, but then if I do this, I can't see myself anymore, but I can see the live stream thing. So, and hopefully you guys should be able to see InDesign as well. I've just kind of shrunk the screen, or shrunk the window down a little bit to fit it on there. So hopefully you guys can see that. And like I said, leave us a little comment. I should be able to see it over here, I hope. If you guys can't see that. Oh, yep. The Gym Reaper. Hey, Gym Reaper. Nice to have you here. Hopefully this is entertaining for you, or at least useful for you. But that's good to know that you guys can see that as well. So the Gym Reaper, are you interested in homebrew yourself at all, doing anything like that? Oh, g'day Len. How you going? Dice It Up Gaming, Len from Dice It Up Gaming, great little channel. I think down in Victorian way. Is that right, Len? He say, "G'day, yep, it's working, excellent." So yeah, hopefully this is useful for you guys. So having a look here, you can see this is the InDesign sort of thing. So there are some similarities between this and Photoshop. If you've seen the Photoshop stuff, it's pretty useful. And because there's a lot of similarities there, but again, quite different as well. So that's what we're going to go through today. And I guess the big thing to have a look at is you've got pages, which I guess is the big thing, and it's quite a useful feature with InDesign. You've got this pages section, layers. So if you saw our video before on Photoshop, everything is sort of built around this idea of layers. So you can turn. So let's have a look here. We're looking at this card here. This is a card back from one of the characters, so I can turn things off like the designer, and that should disappear down here and stuff like that. So it's all about everything is sort of built in these sort of onion layers, and you can sort of like make them appear and disappear as you like, and go into sections. So this one doesn't really have abilities because it's just the back of the card. But if we have a look, maybe I don't think this one's going to have special backs, but if we have a look at, if we go into hero art here, we can see we've got different layers of hero art, and we can turn off different layers and do different stuff there. So we can play around with the hero art there. So that's this idea of layers. That's going to be in common with Photoshop. Now links, I never go into links because I don't know what it does, and I don't want to touch it because I don't want to mess with it, but that's there as well. I think that's how all the stuff is built out. All these links are sort of added in there. So that's sort of like under the hood stuff that I don't want to mess with, but layers and pages is pretty much what I stick with. So again, another thing about this is that I can basically want to show that even someone with very limited computer skills here, and Photoshop type skills, can use this system quite successfully, fingers crossed. So because I have built quite a few characters now with this. Sometimes it requires a little bit of sort of reminding myself how to use different parts and getting a bit stuck in some places, but generally getting pretty familiar with it now. So hopefully this will show you that you can sort of have a bit of fun with it, even if you've got sort of amateur skills like myself. Another thing down here that we can see, let me just see if I can move this out of the way, is this idea of the swatches, and this is where you can sort of control your colors and background colors and that sort of thing as well. So we'll be using this a little bit too. And now Jim said he made now this is a Dragon Ball Z character. I'm not super familiar with Dragon Ball, so I don't know if it's Vegeta. He's like a vegetable, Vegeta, but Vegeta and Goku, because he already had minis. Oh, in the chibi style, that's cool, and a similar scale. Actually, that's the trick, isn't it? Always trying to like, there's so many different Marvel United things I'd like to get into, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I can easily find the models for that. So yeah, but that's cool. Okay, so Vegeta and Goku. Oh, that's very cool. Have you had any luck having people try those out? Have you put them up anywhere for people to try them out? There's obviously the Marvel United Discord is a great place to do that if you're interested in other people trying them out. Otherwise, the Marvel United, I think it's Facebook Fanatics or something like that. Marvel United Fanatics Facebook thing. Is a place I think where people share stuff, and also diversionArchitect, the guy behind this template, he has done the Marvel United wiki on fandom, or he hasn't done the whole wiki, but he's sort of set up this section of homebrew stuff. So if you want to share your Vegetarian and Goku, there's definitely some sections already there with like gaming, like there's a gaming subsection, all that sort of stuff as well. So apologies if your stuff is already there, like maybe it's there and I haven't seen it yet, sort of thing. But that's somewhere, if you would like to show it off, that's definitely a place you can pop your stuff up. But that sounds very cool. So Dragon Ball, that is a big world to sort of tap into, isn't it? Dragon Ball, you could be making characters for days, I think. So sounds like a good one. All right, well, let's get into the design stuff here. So, like I said, we're going to be looking at the Sentinel. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this idea of the pages. And so you can see here, there's a couple of sections here. We've got this, it's like a making a hero guide, which is useful. So if you're sort of starting from scratch and you really don't know how to go about doing it, Dave's put this little guide in here for you as well. And you can see we've got the back of the card here as well. Now, this was when I sort of opened up this document, there were a whole bunch of cards, a whole bunch of layouts down here. They're called spreads because I think this is like a magazine editing type suite normally, sort of thing. So it's sort of like different pages of the magazine that you can lay out. There are a whole bunch here, but I've sort of deleted a whole bunch of those just to get them out of the way so they're not clogging things up. Now, you also have this sort of slidey, almost like a sheet or something that goes up over the top of these things here. So if you slide this down, you can see all of these sort of templates that are already built in here. And this is a character called Mondo, by the way, that Dave has designed. I think I showed him off on a recent video. He's quite cool with some nice original art by Erwin Thunder. But you can see here, these are all like what are called parent images. So behind the screen here are these parent cards. And these are sort of like the base cards. You don't want to, well, you sort of do want to mess with them, but they're sort of like, these are like the basic things that everything else is built off. So the idea with this InDesign system is that you can build your cards. Okay, so the special back, that's fine, like your back cards, you make those, you don't have to worry about that. But these cards that you keep remaking over and over, like your special cards and all your sort of basic cards here, if you can see here, he's got his basic sort of setup for what the special ability cards look like. And then he's got his regular cards here that don't have the special abilities, but they have these here. But then he's got this card here called the Global Front. So what you can do is you can go in and design this card, and then you can populate this section here under this, or underneath this screen layer here, and then they will all automatically have all of these features built out. So every time you build a new card, you don't have to redesign the colors each time. You don't have to redesign the symbol. You don't have to put the art back in and all that sort of stuff. So you can sort of save a lot of time with this InDesign system with that feature there. So let's have a look here. We'll go in, and now we've got the back of the hero card here. That's nice and easy. But I thought what we'll do today, because in my mind, I think I've got plans to do a bottom of the deck card. So what we're going to do, we're going to use this special back card here. And so this is going to let us play around with things if we go. So we're collecting this one here. We've clicked on it. We're going to go into layers, and this is going to give us all the different designs and different choices we've got here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the top level off, because that's going to take those borders off there, and we're just going to play with the image to start with. So I thought what we'll do is, now hopefully this will work. We'll go into and sorry, Jim's saying not yet. They are cut out playtest phase. I use the Discord to help me. Oh, excellent. Okay, cool. So you've gone into the Discord. People have helped you out there. Great, excellent. Oh, that's good. Very cool. So let's have a look. So we've got our character here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. I'm going to click on, well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go into the character art section. I'm going to click on the character art, maybe this guy here, starting art here. And I'm going to place, hopefully this will work. Okay. Oh no, is this not going to work? Why is that not working? Oh. Uh-oh. Let me see what I can do about this. I'm just going to minimize that for a second, and I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to open. Why is this folder not working? Because I need to get something out of that folder. All right, that's not going to work, is it? All right, so let's open that back up, open this back up. So what we might have to do is I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Okay. And I'm going to see if something to do with the sharing was stopping me. Yeah, it was. Okay, so I'll share again in a second, but I'm just going to go into this folder where I've got some images already set up. I'm going to drag this image in. It should appear there. Okay, that has worked. So I'm just going to minimize that. I'm going to go back into the sharing of the screen. Apologies about that, guys. Wonder if that's to do with the fact that maybe I should have only had it on the window or something like that. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Hopefully you guys, all right, because that working for you now. You guys can see I've got a sentinel in there. Okay, excellent. Now, let me see. I have to click on this. And then what I'm going to do is, so I've put that in, that's replaced the image of Mondo. And now I'm going to use my arrow keys to move this sentinel across. And I'm going to move him down, try and center him a little bit. Usually on the backs of the cards, they're pretty big as well. And you can see as they're moving down, it's the red, this red image here, I think is my image that I've selected. So I'm just going to hold Shift, I think it is, to try and keep him in proportion. I'm just going to try and increase the size of him a little bit. Oh, hopefully that worked. Okay, let's see if that's worked. Here he goes. Yep. So there we go. And you can just sort of play around with the size until you're happy with him. I think that's pretty good. Maybe we'll just go a little bit larger. For some reason, I feel like on the backs of the cards, they're pretty big, these images. So we'll just do that again. Okay. See Daisy. Whoa. There we go. Nice. Okay, I think that's pretty good. There we go. Slide that across a little bit. No, not letting us slide across. Oh, well, anyway. I think we get a good idea there of what that looks like. Now, okay, so we're pretty happy with that. Now, and of course, you can sort of play around with how you want your image to be. You can rotate it and do all that sort of stuff, make it go mirror image and that sort of thing. But the next thing I want to do is have a look at the back of this card. It's a nice color, nice background there. But let's say we want to change it to be a little bit more using the colors of the character or whatever it might be, or we just might want to change our own colors. So what we do is we have a look at this swatches section here, and we'll go with, let's have a look here. We've got, and we go into you've got these different sections. If we go into hero specific, this is, I think, normally where I sort of play around here. You can see if we go into the, where is it? Dots and backgrounds. No, dots and backgrounds. Here we go. Choose angle. So what we have here are the different gradients. And I think we've got this gradient here, do we? Maybe it's locked. Maybe, oh, I don't know if I should unlock this. Should I unlock it? That could be messing with things. All right. Don't mess with the things. All right, so I think we'll do that, and hopefully this will change the color in the background here. So we've got this 2/ background gradient here, and you can see these colors here. And I think it's using these colors here. So I think what we'll do, we'll try and change these, and this should change some of these background colors here. So let's have a look at this. We might go, oh, okay, so if we could do that one, we could do that. Okay, oh, I like that, that's nice. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. Ah, okay. So that's changing like the shape as well. I think that's because I've done that. I might just edit and undo the swatch. Edit, undo that one. Let's undo that. Okay, let's leave that there. Slash back gradient. Okay. Oh, I think what I was supposed to do was, oh no, maybe I don't want to mess with that. Maybe I should lock that in. All right, so let's try this one. Okay, and oh, let's try this. What happens if I double click on this now? Is that going to do the same thing? Ah, good. All right, this is what we wanted. Okay, so now we come in here and we can, I think because I unlocked that thing, that sort of changed up everything. So we don't want to mess with that. We want to go to I think it's red, green, blue, or whatever this RGB thing means. And we want to play around with this. So this orangey color here, that's this sort of main background color, stop one here. Let's see if we can, what if we made it, we'll hold down on this little dropper color here. Let's see if we can make it maybe like one of the sentinel colors like this. Okay, if we did that, what would that do? All right, we go okay. And we'll see, you can see we can change that color there. All right, and then we might go, all right, let's also use maybe one of these reddish colors here. So we go in, we might choose this number 2 to be the reddish color. So we double click on the little square there. We go in, change it to RGB, and go over here, and let's maybe pick this one. Let's try that. Okay. Oh, there we go. So we've got that. And then we want to change this one here maybe. All right. Oopsie. What are we going to change this one to? Let's go with, oh, grab this one. What about maybe the color of the face there? Okay. And there we go. We've got our sentinel with the colors there, and you can play around with, putting the blue on the outer edge and the gray and that sort of thing as well. So we'll just, for the purposes of this, we don't want to get too bogged down in the color choosing and all that sort of stuff at the moment, because it's just a bit of a muck around and sort of playing around with this. But not sure if I'm entirely happy with that. But you can have a bit of a muck around, and you don't have to pick colors based on the actual sentinel itself. You could pick completely different colors if you didn't want them to be too close. But that's how you can use these swatches to quickly just sort of pick colors that you know are going to be related to the image that you've got. So there we go. All right, so let's now go back up, because now in Pages, we've created this. So what I'm going to do now is, and we've just created this special back here. Okay, so that's now a parent thing. So that every special back that we make is going to be based on what we've just created there. So what we can do is we can come down to this area. We can right click on this card here, and we can insert a page, and we can insert it after the page. We choose what sort of thing we want. So do we want global front? Do we want special backs? We want a special back. So this is now going to put a special back into our actual collection of cards. So this will be what gets printed out. So we will go with, we just want one of them. Yep, we'll put that in there. Okay, so now we have this special back. So that's the back of our cards. We've created that. If we want to go in and edit this card later on, we can right click on it and hit override all parent page items. And that's when you want to start sort of creating your text on your cards and things like that. For each separate card, you can do that, but we don't need to do that here. This is just going to be one back card. But what we do want to do is we want to have that bottom of the deck card as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on this image again, because this is now in our list of spreads. We can insert the page, or we can duplicate the spread. So if we want another copy of the same thing, we can do that. But now what we want to do is we want to override all parent page items. So this is what's going to let us change up the card. And that's the difference between sort of this section here that's sort of under the screen and, or I guess over the top of the screen. I think of it like a bed sheet and sort of covering up the, the people under the bed sheet here. So these guys are over the top. So these are the ones that are going to get printed out, and these are the ones that you can sort of manipulate and change. You sort of don't want to mess. Once you've set these parent ones up, you don't want to mess with them too much. So we're going to go back down to this card. And what we'll do, we'll go into the layers of this card. And in theory, since I've done that, I should be able to go into, oh no, maybe I didn't. Did I override all parent items? Let me try that. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh no, interesting. What did I do? How come that's not letting me change the, because what I was going to do was change this thing from starting hand to starting hand to bottom of the deck. So let's see, why didn't that work? Let's go back here. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Why is that? That's also changed this one, hasn't it? All right, well, let's try that again. Let's delete these two. Delete spread. Okay. And we'll delete this one. Yeah. Okay, so we've created this one here in this section. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, what we can do is, let's try this. We'll go back in here. We'll change this one to the special back. Yep. And bottom of the deck, that's what we want. Bottom of the deck, there we are. That's in there. We can change the designer as well. We can put that in fact, can we take the designer out? There we go. If we wanted to like put in, we could say, oh, Meeple Monkey made this card or whatever, and we could put that in there. But I don't particularly feel like I need to do that at the moment. Okay. So that is our bottom of the deck card. Now you can see here, you can make just the regular back of the hero here as well, which is this card up here. The reason I wanted to do it here was it seems like with this system is you've got to sort of set this card up separately to setting this one up. So I was hoping I could just build this one. Interesting. I wonder. And then sort of change it up. Once I've made this one, then I could change these other ones here. Let's try that. Let's see if we leave this one like this. I wonder if we can then come in here. Okay, we'll insert a back of the hero special deck. Okay, in here. So this should look like that. Yep, fantastic. Then can we insert another one? Because we duplicated the last one, didn't we? Let's try and insert a new one. Okay, and let's just go into this one itself. So not messing with this one in theory, but I'm not sure. Override all parent page items. This is one that I thought let us sort of treat this as its own separate card, but let's see. All right, so now we're just dealing with this layer here. Can we turn this off? Yes. Now, did that? Aha. Oh no, it turned it off here too, didn't it? Oh, bummer. All right, so That's okay, because what we can do is we'll go back in and, well, technically what you could do, I guess, is you could, um, if you didn't want to have to rebuild the card itself, because we won't spend too much time on this, but I guess you could go back, like you could do two things. You could go in and you could just rebuild the card and try and get it as close as you can, like matching it up like this in the back of the hero thing. And I'm sure Dave can help us out with giving us some feedback on how we can fix this situation. But because I'm just worried about trying to set the card up exactly how it is here. Otherwise, I guess you could export the image once you've built this one and then come back in and remove the back of deck sort of thing from it as well. So, all right, let's just leave that as it is for now. And we can always play around with putting the bottom of the deck thing on there as well later on. But so we've made the back of the card. Let's go in and have a look at the global front. So this is the big one. So, oh, what's happened to all the, where have all the thingies gone for this one? That's interesting. Layers, what's happened to the top level? Maybe oh, okay, it's taken it off. Taking it off from all of those. That's weird. What have I done? All right, so I hope this isn't going to then put, when I mess with this one, put other things back on the other ones, but we'll find out. Okay, so we've got the basic global card here. And what we will do is we're going to play around with the title here. So we'll just put in Sentinels. So we'll just go back to here, erase this part. In fact, we might even say MVC. Okay, so Marvel vs. Capcom version, and we'll call this Sentinels. Sentinels. No, we'll just call it Sentinel. Sentinel, yep. And then I might even put that over here. Maybe line it up with the corner there, have it over there. You could have it closer. I'm not sure whether that looks better like that or close up. Then we will also make this icon. So what we'll do with the icon is we'll go in to this area here. So we've got the hero icon, we've got the icon coloring, and we've got this circle here. So that's what we want. So we're going to go into the circle, and then we can turn off the icon coloring here. And if you look at this, that's going to turn off the icon as well. Now this circle is where we want to put our sentinel. So I think I'm going to have to do that same trick as before. So I'm going to minimize this down. I will stop screen sharing. There was that little button there I could have pressed on, wasn't there? But we'll go with this one here. I'll just bring that back up again. And we'll get this little sentinel icon, chuck him in there. Okay. And we'll come back here and we'll present screen share again. And entire screen, bingo, bingo, and we should be back in action. So now you can see this giant sentinel that we've created here. So we're going to click on here, and you can see he's quite large. So we're going to try and shrink him a little bit. Shrinky, shrinky, shrink. Okay. And whoopsie. Try and find him off to the side here. Okay. Let's go across. See if I can move him. What'd I do with him? Let's edit, undo. There we go. Let's move him across. We'll bring him to us. Okay. Like I said, not the best video for people who know what they're doing with the computers. This is probably pretty frustrating for a lot of folks watching this, but hopefully it's also a bit funny watching someone try and work out how to resize their image. Here we go. We'll make him nice and small, and then we'll bring him across. Here he goes, coming down into the circle. There we go. Little sentinel icon sort of vector image here. Now this one I got off the internet. So what was the guy's name? Antone, I think Instagram or something like that artist has made this. So I'll make sure to give credit to that person when these cards are ready to go. So you can sort of muck around with sort of making sure that's really centered nicely. We'll just leave that there for now. It's not quite centered, but you get the idea. So we've done that. We can also change the color scheme here. So we'll come down to this swatch section again. Like I said, we're sort of going to use this a fair bit. Now, what I forgot to do was with the Sentinel image before, when I was collecting those, doing those little RGB sort of scales and looking at the colors there, if you record those numbers there for those, you can put those in later and just like get the exact same colors you want again here. I do have two of the colors here that I might like to use here that I've used for coloring this image. This image was black and white before, but that's another thing you can do. But so what we might do in the meantime is we might actually put the character's image in. I'll just bring close some of these down a little bit so we've got a bit more room to move. Put the character art in as well, I think. So let's do that. Hero art. Let's maybe put that in here. Hopefully this will work. Okay. And this, once I get the art in here, then that should be the last time I have to do this stop sharing thing. So let's try stop sharing. Let's go pop this in. There we go. And minimize that. We'll go back up here. We'll start sharing again. Sharing is caring. All right, so there we go. So the days of future past. Yeah. The Sentinels they're pretty cool. Everything to do with the Sentinels. There's Simon Templar's big sort of multi-Sentinel fight. There's the days of future past Sentinels in the regular mission, which is really cool as well. And even just in the challenge mode, they're pretty fun as well. All right, so there we go. We've got our image in there. Now we want to generally click on this center circle sort of thing, and that usually sort of like selects the image, and then you can sort of manipulate the image. So I'm just going to move him around a little bit, just make sure we've actually, sometimes you select the frame, sometimes you select the actual image, so you just sort of muck around with that. Now again, you could resize this so you could see more of the Sentinel. You also want to think about what you can see when you have the special effect box sort of taking up some of the room as well. So that's going to cut off some of where the Sentinel is. So you sort of want to think about maybe having the face at least visible around about here, sort of thing. So I think I'll just leave it like that for now. We could always change that later. So we've got our image in there, plus we've got our colors and things that we could use as well. So let's go back down to the swatches and we'll have a look. So the main color you can see here, this light sort of sandy sort of color here, that's going to be where the Sentinel's title is. You can see the main color too is this sort of more rich brown. That's this color here. We've got sort of for that main sort of circle and this sort of accent border here. And then sometimes there's another color sort of coming off down here with some of the boxes and things. That's usually this this color here. And in fact, I think this one's used for the backgrounds as well. So we'll see how we go. I think these two are sort of main color 1 and main color 3 are maybe used for the backgrounds. So let's have, oh no, maybe not back, maybe one of these. I'm trying to think where the background ones are. Anyway, all right, let's try messing around with main color 1. So we'll go in here. So I'm thinking we want sort of like this sentinel blue in behind the sentinel. So that could be that color there. So maybe we use the flesh color of the sentinel here, the face color, as the main color. Also because that's a nice light color. You don't want sort of like the darker colors where you can't read the text as well. It's not as useful. So that's a tip that Dave has given us. So try to remember it when I can. Okay, so let's go into that color there. And so what do we want? We want this one here. So I should be able to do that. So can you change the layer of the design? Make it look like the sentinel is coming out of the card. Yes, you can. I don't know. I don't want to mess around with it too much because, as you can see, if I go outside my lane, I sort of make mistakes and stuff. But generally, with this idea of layers and things like that, there are ways you can do it. I know Helios 23 sort of taught me how to do it with the Photoshop design, where you can sort of have them coming out of the box, and you can even do things like have this hand sort of inside the box, and then this hand coming outside the box, so you can sort of create even more of a 3D sort of look. So short answer, yes. Unfortunate reality, I'm not really able to show you how to use that very well at the moment, but I have experimented with it a bit on Photoshop, and you can definitely do that, and I'm pretty sure you can do it in InDesign as well. So good question though. So what was I doing? Oh, that's right, messing around with main color one. So fingers crossed this. Let's go back. I don't know what I did there, and I must have selected the background or something. All right, so let's go in and look at low art and line, bottom, color one, bottom frame. What is that? And you can always sort of mess around and see what you're sort of looking at here as well. So I imagine I'm probably supposed to be looking at top right frame. That's this thing here. All right. Maybe top level. What's in top level? Icon coloring, hero deck title bars. Maybe this is title bar. Yeah, that's what we want. All right. So now let's see. All right. So we've gone in red, green, blue. All right. So now I think that's what that stands for. Just guessing. We'll go over here. We'll select this color here. Okay. So we could write that down and say 247. 215, 119, and then we could write that in. Another thing that's useful about that is Dave reckons sometimes when you use the color dropper, it can glitch out on you a little bit. So sometimes good to just do it once, get the numbers down, and then you can just type them in manually. So we'll hit OK on that, and hopefully that will change that. Yep. So you can see now we've changed that color here. So again, we want to try and do this bluey color. So let's go. So main color 2. Oh, nope. Ooh. Let's do that. So again, we want to select the accent title bar first. Then we can change the color on it. Okay. And let's change that to this one, RGB. And let's go in and select. Now, do we want a deep one like that, or do we want light? Let's play around with light. We can change it up if we don't like it later on. There we go. That is pretty light, isn't it? Let's go in. Let's go a bit deeper. Let's do something like this. Let's see if I'm more happy with that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. All right. Now, so we've done that. Now for our, let's go in and see, what are we going to use as, our background? Main color 3. So this is front background color. So I'm guessing that's that darker color there. So let's go in and maybe, now do I have to select background here? I just want to make sure. Here we go. Dots and background. Whoopsie. Dots. It's all locked, but I don't want to mess with that too much. All right. Well, let's have a look at this background and see if that doesn't mess things up too much. Oh, it did too. It changed it, didn't it? Undo. Okay, we'll keep that there. Maybe we just select the background. All right. Did that select the background? I don't know. All right, let's give it a shot. What happens if I... Oh. I don't think we want to do that. Well, let's just run with it, and let's see what happens if we select a dark sort of one like this. What if? No, that's not what we want. Undo swatch. Undo that. Okay. Maybe that's this section here where this line is here. So okay. So how do we dots and lines? Maybe gradient. No dots. I think that's inside. That's the dots and stuff inside the image there. Dots and background. Dots, white, rectangle. Okay, so maybe we just click on this rectangle and change that color, and that should do it. Everybody cross your fingers. Why is that not changing? Oh, what happened there? Let's do that again. Rectangle. Here we go. Okay, fingers crossed. Here we go. Now, do we want a dark one like that? Yeah, why not? Okay. There we go. Okay, bear with me. So now what I'm thinking is dots. Oops, I did it again. Undo swatch. Gotta click on this first. So I'm going over. So sorry, I should be explaining what I'm doing here. So I'm going down to this section here where it talks about dots. I'm going to click on that. And in theory, so just down here, in theory, background color 3, or sorry, front dots color 3 here, or no, this is front dots, I think. I'm gonna, man, did it do that again? Why did that happen there? Am I supposed to click on dots, right? Dots. Well, that worked. Oh no, it didn't. It changed everything. Well, I want to go with this light color here. See if I can fix that. And then what happens if I go back to this one? Why is that changing everything? That is interesting. That is interesting, isn't it? Well, let's go back a few steps here. Undo, 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 and there we go. All right, so we've got our dark color there. Why is this not changing for us? I like how I can do this part, but yeah, what background, front background dots. Maybe I've got to click on it or something. White lines, pasted graphic, dots. Dots white. What if I turn off the rectangle and then change the color? I don't think that's going to work. Don't think that's going to work. Let's give it a shot. Nope. Okay, changed everything again. Cancel. Edit, undo. Yeah, undo button is a lifesaver, but unfortunately, it's not making. See, this is. I was hoping this would go really smoothly. I was like, oh yeah, this is working. I can work out how to put all these things in. What I didn't test out was these background dot colors. What? But hopefully it's also showing that even if you sort of run into a few problems, you can sort of muck around. You can do the undo button, and you can sort of play around with it and sort of gradually build up your skill. Starting dots. What color is that? It's this color. So it is one of these ones. Maybe if I change main color 3 or something, but I'm just not sure why it's selecting everything. It must be something to do with how I'm, like what I'm clicking on or something. All right. Well, you know what? Before we get too bogged down in this, why don't we just pretend that's a lovely color there that we love and it looks great, and that's what we're going to keep. Now, in reality, no, that's not what we'll be selecting, but why don't, so we can move on and show you some other things. Why don't we just say that, yes, we changed that lovely color there, because what I ideally like is this sort of lighter, reddy sort of pinky color here to be the color of the dots there. I think that'd look all right. Now, I think we also need to change the main color 3, but that might be showing on some of the different cards, so we won't worry about that one for now. All right. So, well, I wonder if maybe if let's just see what happens if I click on it. I can always hit undo, can't I? All right. So, whoa, where'd that go? All right. Now, what I'd like for main color 3 is, in fact, this color here. I think that'd be nice. So let's go dropper, and we'll choose this one. Okay. And that changes that to there. So that's our main color 3. All right. Now, if we go, so we've now built our global design. I can't think of anything else I need to change here, apart from maybe the artist, because I believe this is, now I'm not sure if it's Edward, what's his name? I've got some of the Marvel United boxes in front of me here, so I'm wondering if his name's on the box. Is it, what's his name? I've got the artist here. Apologies to the artist. I doesn't seem to have the artist's name on there, but very talented artist, and I believe that's his original work. So we could always put that on. But for now, what I will do is I will go in and select not the designer, but the artist, and just get rid of that because we don't need Erwin Thunder's name there, but we could type in a different name there. All right, so we've got our thing set up here. Again, down here with the designer, we could put in Meeple Monkey, but we'll just leave that blank there. So there we go. We've got all those set up. So if we go back to pages now, what we can do is we can now come down here. We can select Insert Page. And since we've got this global front, I should be able to, without messing with anything from the abilities or the regular ones, I should be able to put in a regular card. Regular card, and pop that in there, and that's going to bring up one of these cards here. Now, what I can do here is this one. I'm actually. Now this is what I wanted. This is why I wanted that card number, or that not card. I wanted that color number 3, and because you can see that's created this third color here, and so I think that does a pretty good job of capturing the colors of the Sentinels. The colors they tend to use in Marvel United, I think, are usually based on like the clothing the character wears, if I'm not too mistaken. So there we go, that's done. if you're not happy with that, you're like, oh, I'd rather the blue here and this and that. You can always play around with that and change it up. So as long as you got that undo button. Okay, so then so we've built that. We can make another one. So let's go duplicate spread. Now, hopefully in this case, what it's going to do for us, okay, in this case, hopefully if I go override parent items, hopefully this time it's not going to change everything on the previous card, because that's what it normally does. It just doesn't. It only sort of creates the differences on the single card. So let's see. Let's try that. So we'll go down to this one here, and we'll go into our layers. And what we want to do is we want to make this our double wild. So we've got our single wild and we've got our double wild. And this is the same sort of process you can use for making any of your normal cards, because they're usually just 1 or 2 symbols. They can be moves, punches, heroics, whatever you like. So you just do it exactly the same way. Come down here to our placement and actions section, and we just go through and we have a look, and you can turn different things off, bits and pieces. But what we want is, I think, actions up here. Now we could make it double actions, which is what we do want. If we didn't want a double action, if we just wanted to change this to say an attack, we could do that, nice and easy. But we're not worried about that. What we want to do is go in and do a double action. So we'll do that. And what we want for this one is the left action to be a wild, and we want the right action to also be visible and to be a wild, and we've created our double wild card. So we are done. So that is done. And you can see here that this is creating our list of things that get basically produced as export images, and this is what you can put into your files when you're creating your images for people to print off. This is essentially the list of cards you're printing off. So now interesting. I wonder, see how this image here hasn't changed? This is still what we're looking at here. We've got the double wilds here. If I scroll up, the other thing too that's useful about InDesign, once we've got a few cards built out, I wanted to show this, is that you can just scroll through all your images, all your cards. Now, what I want to see is, I wonder if I was panicking over nothing. We'll have a look. But I wonder if I go in here, and because I forgot that sometimes it sort of doesn't update this little list of images here, doesn't sort of update very quickly. So this still looks like I've got, because I duplicated the image, I think, it still looks like I've got a single wild there when it's been changed to a double. So I wonder if I were to go into this one and go into layers, I wonder if I could sort of remove that top layer. Okay, fingers crossed. And then see if that did it to the one above as well. Oh, it did too. Oh, well. I'm not sure what's happened with that. It must be the fact that, you're really supposed to design the bottom of the deck or starting hand ones with this template, and then use that other template to make your regular backs, I guess. Anyway, but these two are fine. We've got these two. They look, uh-oh. Oh, you know what's happened? Look at that. I turned off top layer too, didn't I? Top level. And that's turned those off. So I've done something wrong where I've made all of these things turn off the top level sort of thing across all of the cards, and I don't think it should be happening. But anyway, so that's looking good. All right, so now let's go down and add a special card, because the sentinels that I'm making, my ideas are to have lots of special cards. So I thought with, let's go insert a page. Let's go after the thingy, and we want to make a abilities card. All right. So here we go. Here's our abilities card here. So as I was saying before, you want to sort of keep your image. You want to sort of bear in mind where your image is going to be here. You can also, as you're making the different cards, so you can see here we've got this blue background for our wilds. If we scroll up, blue background for our wilds. With these different ones, you can sort of think about, do you want to have different color backgrounds for a range of different cards in here too. So if we go into layers and we go, I think I've got to change, I've got to override there we go. We want to change the colors. We go down to character art and we go into the gradients, and we can choose different angles. We can choose different colors and things as well. We can change those up. So we might want to do like a red color or something for this one. And then you can add, change your own colors and that sort of thing as well. You can sort of mess around with the gradient colors and things, I think, down here. Oh, hold on. Yeah, you can mess around with them and stuff here. You can see there's a bunch of different colors and stuff here. All right, so, but let's have a look now at this one here. And so for the Sentinel, so I've got these ideas of having like all the different sort of, what I usually try to do with the Marvel versus Capcom stuff or the Street Fighter stuff is like just sort of have a card each, representing each of the different sort of major special moves from back in Street Fighter 2 sort of thing. So Guile, has his flash kick and his sonic boom and one other card sort of thing. And that sort of thing. With the Sentinel, I remember him sort of like firing rockets out. I remember him having sort of like a almost Dalsim level sort of stretchy arm sort of rocket punch attack or something. I thought I think he's got like some sort of like EMP thing, or like I think it's called Plasma Storm when I looked it up. So I thought that could be kind of cool. And there's one where he sort of races across the screen and bashes things as well. But the one I thought would be fun to do, well, I'll put all those in, because the idea is I want with this Sentinel is to have all those different moves in here. So he's going to be one of those characters, a bit like maybe Groot or those sorts of characters, where they sort of have quite a lot of special cards. So they don't have a lot of different actions at the bottom of their cards, but their deck is full of lots of specials. So that's my idea behind the Sentinel, and it's all going to be based on the moves of that Street Fighter game. So I think the Sentinels are quite a fun playground to sort of muck around in, sort of thing. And I'd like to see maybe other designers come up with, rather than based on the video game, just based on the Sentinels themselves, like a hero version of the Sentinels. And so then you could sort of maybe have some real fun mucking around with like a interesting deck that plays around with the idea of like generating power or resources, and you sort of like have to sort of build up power or something like that. Or maybe is it going around capturing, maybe the character works around sort of like capturing, or has some sort of plays on the fact that they're really tough and durable and that sort of thing. But I thought just the moves from the video game would be the focus of my my design here. So that's what we're going to do. So what we'll do, and just a full disclosure, we won't build the full character here today, obviously, because we don't want to take up too much of your time, sort of thing. But I'll show you how to build this special card design, and then the same thing, if you're building just like those ability cards, you just go through the same steps, and you just put in the different actions and things that you want. So for this one, we're going to call this one Sentinel Force, I think it was called, because this is a card where the Sentinel in the video game sort of like summoned a whole bunch of little sentinels that sort of streamed across the screen and did a whole bunch of damage and stuff. So I thought that would be quite fun. So if we call it Sentinel, and I think the move was called Sentinel Force. Sentinel Force. Okay. We can put an exclamation mark if we want to. And you can see here now, I've started typing into this box here, but what we do have to be careful with, or what we want to think about, is when we go into this one, abilities is the section that we want here. And the other useful thing too, sometimes you can like click on, say I want to, let me get my little clicker here. If I want to click on Sentinel Force, if I'm like, what layer is that in? Where is this, like, what is this title part of? See how I've clicked on that, and you can see that it's got pink here. So that pink will show up in this layers list. It will sort of show up where it is. And if it's not sort of currently open, at least you can go, okay, it's in the pink section. So I need to go in and, let's say I clicked on something and it was red. Click on this Sentinel thing here. I can go in and say, oh, it's in the red level, I can go in and look for where it is, and you can see it's down here. So that's quite useful as well. If you sort of get lost amongst this stuff, you can sort of use the color coding system. So let's go into this pink section. We'll go into abilities, and here you can see there's icons. Now what Dave's done, and this is across all of his templates, villains, heroes, that sort of stuff, they're off the screen so they're not sort of getting in the way. But if you sort of click, if you've got like the selector here, and you sort of just click off the thing so you don't accidentally sort of click on a little layer that's on the inside of the card, and you hit the W, it'll bring up stuff like the bleed area around the card that you don't normally see. It'll also bring up these little images here, and you can click on these, copy them, paste them, that sort of thing, move them around, and that way you can put these into the text and that sort of stuff. So if you want to say, your punches do double damage or whatever, you can sort of grab the punch from here and put it up here. But they're also, I think, the icons, if we have a look here, if I click on attack and I make that disappear, they're all sitting here. But if you're looking for where they are in the layers, they're all in this section here, in this icons thing. But normally they're in this section that's a hidden section. All right. So let's go into this ability box, because what I want to show you is that you need to sort of pick your type of ability. So most abilities are going to be standard, but they have introduced a new thing in the game called mandatory, and they will have a black background for their abilities. So there's a few characters like this, like I think Nightcrawler and stuff, and you must play that. Like if you play the card, you must follow through this ability. It's not an optional ability. So Dave's put the option to have the mandatory one in there, and there's a whole list of different sizes for that. And there's the regular. So we're going to make this a regular one. And what's interesting is you have all these different options for the lines. So this way, if you know your ability is going to be quite wordy, you probably want a 6-line ability, and then you can adjust. You can have a 5-line, 4-line, and so on. So I think this one might be the 5-line ability. You can see that's what's selected there. But if we get rid of that and we bring up a 4-line, you can see it's a bit smaller, 3-line, and so on. I think this one is probably going to be fairly wordy, so we'll go with the 6-line. Which means now you can see I had been already typing into, and this is why I was saying you want to be careful with this. You want to go in and do this first, because if you start typing everything and then realize you're in the wrong one, you sort of got to go back, because each box is its own thing. So I've got to go back in here now and type in this 6-line ability thing. You can already see it's got, because Dave's been using the star and the punch thing here, there's already little icons and stuff that are in there as well, spider bots and bits and pieces, is the title and stuff. So if I want to go in here, I can click on, in fact, I can click on spider bots there. That'll bring up the title. And let's put in, what did we say it was? Sentinel Force. Sentinel Force. There we go. Let's put that exclamation mark in. Then we can also, again, we could go in and click on the text here, or we can just go into the box itself. Let's start typing. So my idea for this card is go all the way to the top. Okay. Idea for this card is that you utilize the actual what are they called? Tokens, or the Sentinel tokens you get with the Sentinel box. So you get those little tokens with the 1, 2, 3 with their faces on it, and you place them down in locations, and then from then on, as long as this card is face up, at the beginning of your turn, you can swap your big model Sentinel, like basically trade places with that template. So you basically send all these Sentinels out, and so the board is sort of covered in Sentinels hunting down people, and you can sort of, depending on what's more useful for you to be your starting location for that turn sort of thing, you can basically, it's almost like basically using that Sentinel in place of that. And I thought for those people who have the multiple models, you could use the models themselves, but we'll just say place the Sentinels. Now I was thinking, if you're going to use the models, you're probably only going to have the other 2 models, right? So place down two Sentinel thingies. Originally I was thinking put all 3 of the Sentinel tokens down, but I think and this will come out in playtesting, right? I think we'll just use the 2, so but you can sort of playtest that back and forth. So let's try that out. Let's go place 2 Sentinel tokens. In any 2 locations. And you could come back and sort of mess around with the words, like you might want to be specific, like it can't be in your own location and that sort of thing as well. So place 2 Sentinel tokens in any 2 locations. Okay, yep. And then we can say, let's go as long as this card is face up in the storyline, capital for storyline, because they do like to capitalize storyline and locations, don't they? Storyline. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, comma, you may swap locations with one of the Sentinel, or your Sentinel, or however you want to word that, Sentinel. You may swap locations with, whoopsie, one of the Sentinel tokens. I was going to say beginning, but let's say at the start, just to save space. Start of your turn. Okay. Now you can see here that this is cut that off, so we might want to hit enter here just to fix that up. You can see it's got the single thing down here, so can we afford to have this one up the top there? Maybe not, but let's see if we sort of push this one down. And you can sort of play around with that, play around with how the words are spread out here. Maybe we go start of your turn, or maybe at the start of your turn down the bottom here. But as you can see, now we've got a little bit of space here. So one of the things you can do is you can go, well, all right, well, we can see we only need the 5 lines. So what we'll do is cut or copy. We'll copy that. Now you could just select this area here, right, and move it up and down and sort of center it if you like. Or I figure since we've copied that, we can go back to the 5 line ability, which we've already got Sentinel Force there. We can come in here, double click. Is it going to work for us? Yes. There we go. Finally, we can remove all of that, replace it with copy paste. Oh, so seems like it's the same. Maybe we could fit that in anyway. And we go into 5 line ability and we can get rid of these ability thug things here. Not sure why that's still taking up the same amount of space. Anyway, all right. I guess we could try that in a 4 line location as well. Or we could just do this and center it. But as you can see, there's lots of little tricks and things you can do to sort of fix things up, without having to do too much. Like that's a nice fix there anyway, right? And then I thought, okay, well, maybe Sentinel Force to make it a nice card, give yourself a wild there, or you could change, maybe this is super powerful, maybe you get rid of the tokens or the actions altogether. Maybe we go in and make it a actions, maybe we'll make it a double action, maybe we'll make it a double wild. That'll be a pretty popular card. There we go. Maybe that's way overpowered and terrible balancing of your models, who knows. But the idea is that you can sort of play around with it, do what you like, but that's how you can sort of modify that and create those things there. So we've created one of the special cards there. This was going to be that bottom of the deck card that I was thinking of. And so we've done that. We can go in there. Now what you can do is as well, so you go in and say, okay, I want to make another Let's go insert page. I want to make another ability card. Let's put it in. Bingo. Goes back to that organic travel, so we haven't messed with this one too much. We can override the parent page thing and then start messing with it and change it up. The other thing we could do is, since you've got your layout of cards here, what some of the designers do is they just, if they want to say have 3 copies of whatever card it is, this one here, they'll do that 3 times or whatever it might be. And then when they put, copy, because basically what you can do now is, I'll just quickly show you this, is you can now take this deck of cards that you've made and you can export it as one big deck and it's ready to go, sort of thing. So what I was saying is you can, make them all out as separate cards, or you could, if you know that you're going to have 3 copies of this particular card, Sentinel Force, for example, although that'd be crazy, but if you were going to have 3 copies of it, you could just make the one copy of it, and then when you export it, you just label that for people to print. This is card number 5, 6, and 7, sort of thing. So you can either make 3 separate copies of the card that get exported, so you've got those 3 separate images, and that sort of, as people go through and sort of print off their cards, they just sort of print each one, or you can leave instructions in the titles of them saying, this is card, you wouldn't write it that way, but you'd write, Sentinel card 1, Sentinel card, Sentinel card 1, 2, 3, sort of thing, or whatever it might be. So yeah, but let's show you how that exporting thing works too. Hopefully that will work for us, and then we're pretty much done. So apart from a few little hiccups there with the color dot background there, and apologies to Dave for not being an expert at showing this off, but hopefully this has given you guys a bit of a better idea of how this works and that sort of thing. So, but I think we've done a pretty good job of showing that off. As you can see here with the background cards too, there is, if we go back into our parent layers here, there is this back of deck sort of template, so you can go in and as you can see, we have changed the colors there too. So all it would require is going in here, turning off the character art and putting in your Sentinel image, but just trying to line it up pretty similar there. So yeah, so that's pretty good. So I think we've done a pretty good job with that. We'll go back into our pages, and if we go, oh, and you can see there, because I've turned off that thing in the, in the parent thing, it's turned them off here too. So we better go back before I come back to this later and forget what I've done. We'll turn the character art back on there. There we go. And now we've got our Sentinels back. But let's go in, and we obviously don't need this guy here as well. We'll get rid of that. Let's delete that image, delete spread. All right, and so sometimes it'll say insert pages or duplicate spread. Spread and pages are kind of used a little bit interchangeably, so it's something to be aware of as well. But if we go in now to this area here, and we can save it as we go along. So I've already saved this as Sentinels, I think, in one of the folders. So instead of hitting save as, I'm going to hit save. And we're going to go down to export. And this will allow you to go in, and so if you've got a space where, and you can see here, I've got a folder already called Sentinel. So I'm going to save, I'm going to export this in there. So what I do is I hit save. I'm going to, now this is, if I want to print these out, or I want to save these in a drive to share as images for printing professionally, what I'll do is I'll use the document bleed settings. So I'll do this, bingo, and then that will create a whole bunch here. And you can see we've only got the 7 or so cards that we'd sort of built. We hadn't built the whole deck, sort of thing there, but that has now put those into that folder. Now what I can do as well is I can go in here and hit export, and you can see it. This is my folder that I've already built. What I might do is build a new folder in here called Sentinel TTS. This is Tabletop Simulator. This might be another video with one of these highly useful teaching videos. But how to build your cards into Tabletop Simulator as well. So, and this is quite handy having this setup that Dave's done for us, because we can build a little folder here. We can now export these images in. So we'll just export that again. But this time we'll we'll click off the document bleed settings and hit export. And what that does is that puts the cards in um, at their normal sort of size, and because that's the Tabletop Simulator, when you sort of put your cards into that, you don't need the bleed there. So that you can sort of set up a folder for Tabletop Simulator size cards and cards that have a little bit of bleed for the professional printing. So hopefully that's pretty handy for you guys. And that's been either entertaining or useful or, or something for you. What I'll do, I'll just minimize this down so I can see what I'm doing here. I'll stop sharing, oopsie, the screen. And yeah, so hopefully that's been pretty good. And when I have a chat with Dave on the next stream, maybe he can sort of answer some of those questions or explain what I did wrong, sort of thing, with some of those images and that sort of thing as well. But I know that was probably a little fairly long and rambling and that sort of thing, but hopefully it's at least gives some insight and some useful tips and tricks and stuff for people who are wanting, like Jim, wanting to get into the designing of the homebrew stuff and that sort of thing, but maybe haven't sort of seen how to use InDesign or Photoshop, or maybe use Photoshop, but thought, oh, InDesign, that sounds a bit hard, or that sounds a little bit too different from what I'm used to using. Hopefully that's shown that it's actually not too difficult, and even with the little bit of difficulties that I was having there, trying to get through it, we were able to sort of, like, undo is your friend, as Len was saying. You can always sort of like go back and try and work out what was it that you did. So if you just keep going undo till you get back to where you were, sort of thing, you can sort of usually work out what you're trying to do. So yeah. Anyway, well, thank you very much, guys. Hopefully that's given some more, what's the word? Hopefully that's given some more users out there for, or potential users for InDesign, and hopefully we'll see some more homebrew designs coming our way. Just if you're into the homebrew stuff as well, quick shout out to Kanji Studios and the Co-op Guild. They've been playing a bunch of Kanji's designs, or Derek's designs, his Brotherhood designs, and that sort of thing as well. Check out, he's got a great, they've got a great playthrough where they played all three of the Brotherhood, but as separate battles, and I think they even had a bonus battle with the Silver Surfer there too. So that was something they put up recently. So if you're looking for more gameplay videos, definitely check that out. Derek's got lots and lots of great Marvel villains that he's been working on, and still coming out with. He's got another one that's he's just about to release, so get excited for that one, because it looks pretty terrifying. It's pretty fun. So yeah, lots of stuff going on there too, and hopefully we'll be back soon, in a day or two, chatting with Dave as well. So anyway, well, thank you very much, guys. Big thanks to Len from Dice It Up Gaming. Definitely check out his channel too. He's got a great little gaming channel there. He does unboxings and playthroughs. He goes to like local markets, I think, and sort of sets up a little bit of a shop or a little stall there as well, and does some films, playthroughs and stuff live from there as well. So yeah, definitely check him out and give him some support as well. But yeah, thanks for coming along and checking out the video, guys. Thanks to Jim the Reaper, was it? Yeah, the Gym Reaper, and good luck with your Dragon Ball Z design. So if you're looking for Dragon Ball stuff, guys, check out his stuff there. He might have. I think he was saying he's in the Discord, so definitely check that out as well. And Jim, if you're watching this later, or if you're still watching, and you want to get your designs out there as well, don't forget to. You can also add a link to your stuff through the Marvel United wiki as well. And that might be another video we can do down the track, is showing people how to use that, because that's super simple. I won't make as many mistakes on that one, promise. So anyway, well, thank you very much, guys. Have a great one, and Maple Monkey out. See ya.